Christopher Hemsworth was born on August 11, 1983 in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Chris Hemsworth is an Australian actor and model who has a net worth of $130 million. He rose to prominence playing Kim Hyde in the Australian television series, Home and Away, before beginning a film career in Hollywood. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, Hemsworth started playing Thor 2011, and most recently reprised the role in Thor: Love and Thunder 2022, which established him among the world's highest-paid actors. Profession: actor. Nicknames: Kip, Chris. Trademark: deep resonant voice. Light bold blue eyes. Muscular physique. Chris Hemsworth's height: 190.5 centimeters. For me, life is about experience and being a good person. As kids, our experiences shape our opinions of ourselves and the world around us, and that's who we become as adults. People who put themselves on the line and sacrifice their own safety for the greater good and for others, and anyone in any profession whose concern is the welfare for other people instead of the individual, are inspiring and important. Everything shifted for me after Rush. It wasn't as financially successful as other things I'd done, but it gave me more movement, more options, more doors opening, more meetings. All of a sudden, it's, "Oh, you're an actor." I'm for comfort, not for style. Growing up, I always loved films that transport you to another world, and has things you never see in everyday life. I like to explore things. I feel like I'm ready for any dangerous situation that might come my way, provided I have a hammer on me. I'm lucky. Thor has kicked off everything I'm doing, and it's been the greatest thing for me, but I am aware that I need to mix it up a bit. I have seen Thor. It's fantastic. Being that close to something, it's often pretty hard to watch yourself. But the film in so many ways is so impressive that I was swept along with it like an audience member, and that's a pretty good sign. I grew up in a culture of motorbikes, so I like racing just fine. Quite a lot, actually. That was when I was a boy in Australia. And I never really made the jump to cars after that. My father and I are very similar and have a wonderful relationship, but we both stand by our opinions. I'd like to think I'm a normal sort of guy, but go to my mum and she'll probably say, "You know, Chris was always the daughter out of my 3 boys." I enjoy working on a movie that lets your imagination run wild. It's great to be a part of and watch. Having a director who is also an actor makes for that very relaxed way of working, and it's empowering. Not often do you approach a character where people know more about him than you do. You get the part, sign the contract, and start to realize millions of people follow this guy and know more about your character than you do. My daughter is full energy, like my wife and I, and strong-minded and has an opinion, like we do. And my boys, one's a bit more calm and chill, and the other is much more sensitive to things. You see this right away, when they're first born. One cried, one didn't, with the boys. We were living in California, and it just wasn't conducive for the lifestyle that we wanted with kids. Los Angeles is tricky to get around, there's paparazzi to deal with, and I had this feeling that I just wanted to move back to Australia. As a kid, you run around the house pretending to be a superhero, and now to be doing it as a job. I feel very lucky. It wasn't until Thor that I started lifting weights. It was all pretty new to me. I almost feel more anxious lately about, here's your opportunity, now you've got to make something of it. Growing up, my parents were my heroes, in the way they conducted their lives. As a kid, I loved any fantasy. My earliest memories were on the cattle stations up in the outback. And then we moved back to Melbourne and then back out there and then back again. Probably my most vivid memories were up there in Bulman with crocodiles and buffalo. At home in Victoria, we have 3 dogs, Tosh and Lucy. They're half blue Gilas, and then there's Torin, a little Maltese terrier. She gets more attention in the house than anyone else. Yes, I miss them a lot. I was a chatty kid. You have the massive world that was created by Marvel, and then you have these very intimate actors around you. There was as much character work on this as there would be on a little independent film. So, I felt very fortunate in that sense. I can remember watching Lord of the Rings, and being truly regretful that I wasn't a being in that world. The more conflict and contrast you have with a character makes it more interesting. For 3 years, I had embarrassing haircuts. You come to America, and, if you do a big TV show, then you can be overexposed, or old, before you're new. I get to stay active and that is my job at the moment, so I can't complain. Being a superhero is a lot of fun. Sometimes there is more exploration in the character for a villain. I'm not into watching stuff I did last week, let alone 3 or 4 years ago. I'd much rather put on weight than have to lose weight. Eating when you're not hungry and taking in that amount of food is exhausting. Work all paled into the background as soon as I had a baby. I went from sort of trying to get work to all of a sudden being signed up for the next few years on something. And something of this scale with some of the best people in the business involved, acting and directing. It was a dream. I have sporadic OCD cleaning moments around the house. But then I get lazy and I'm cured. It's a very inconsistent personality trait. I love that Viking era, but also they're a fatalistic people and that dictated their fearlessness in battle and approach to life. I'm busier than I've ever been, but you can go through the lists of people who are bang up there 1 minute, and then just disappear. Strong female leads are important. Working with Anthony Hopkins every day is a blessing.